to do YouTube Renzo reacts at it back. Y'all supposed to see me with a retwist right now. Y'all don't see me with a retwist, cause my fucking electrician is bullshit. Like she was on bullshit. I'll just say that. Wait. I wish I could have this shit full screen, bro. Hold on, me.
This happened during the beginning of April a few decades ago. Supposedly it was April Fool's Day, but I never cared for that holiday, if it can even be called a holiday. I've always hated pranks and practical jokes, and never understood why April Fool's was even a thing. Nonetheless, I had a husband whom I recently got married with, just shy of a few months. We eventually moved into our first house together, around a rural part of town. The area had a few houses, but was separated by a few acres of land, so it was almost as if we didn't see much of our neighbors, or anyone for that matter. One night, on a Saturday, my husband went out to get some groceries last minute. He left me alone in the house to start making dinner with what we had. I remember chopping vegetables.
Aren't you? I
and
know you're
hearing a
the
loud knock at
housewife, but aren't you supposed to be getting? Alright, this is not a reaction video. This is not a reaction video. But like, aren't you supposed to be going out to get the groceries? The fuck? First of all, you live in the woods. I wouldn't be at that house, Papa. If y'all got no cameras, y'all cooked. But this is not a reaction video. Let's just watch it, bro. Watch it.
It was weird for that time of night, but I had no idea it was the start of the most terrifying experience of my life. I walked over and looked through the peephole, but nobody was there. I made sure the door was locked and went back to the kitchen to forget about it. Not even a minute later, I heard the same knocking again. This time I raced over to the door and looked outside, hoping to catch the culprit, but there was still nobody there. I was partly annoyed and partly freaked out, but I knew the most reasonable explanation was that some kids were playing ding-dong ditch around the block. I did my best to ignore it and finish chopping up the vegetables. At that point, there wasn't much left for me to do to get dinner going until my husband got back with the meat, so I took a break and headed to the bathroom. Right as I was walking past the door, it happened again. The knocking turned into banging on the door. Despite the terror, I found the courage to look through the peephole, and that's when I saw the most horrifying looking man on the other side, trying to break down my door.
Knock, knock! You're supposed to say who's there.
His clothes.
It's the most fun you can.
I can't fake that reaction on camera. Like, I just can't do it. Like, oh, like that shit funny, bro. Look, this nigga is off crack cocaine. Like, this nigga's on some type of drug, my nigga. Nigga, the fuck? Nigga came straight out of Batman. Nigga said, I'ma terrorize the city for real. That nigga Batman gone, I'ma terrorize the city. Looking ass nigga. Bro, this shit funny, eh?
Torn to shreds, and he was wearing a scary ass looking mask over his face. It was like he knew I'd just seen him, because that's when he started making demands.
Open up! You gotta let me in! I'm homeless! Help me out! Don't you have a heart?
Go away! Pick a different house!
You piece of garbage! You're not gonna feed a starving man!
Please leave! I'm calling the cops!
No, you're
Call the
not!
cops.
You're gonna open this door and give me some food, or else I'll eat something else of yours!
Bro, yo.
He broke through. I started to freeze up.
Alright, we're back. That shit, you should have seen, like, an edit. That part should have cut out, you feel me? Because something happened, but we're back.
I was too afraid to use the knife against him, even though he was walking towards me like a psycho who might do anything. And yet, he wasn't even able to get to me before my vision started to fade and get blurry. My legs felt weak, and it was like my chest was suddenly collapsing.
Walking up, this bitch is over here having, like, what? What? It's probably something we don't know about her, cause she live in the woods. She's probably imagining this shit. Like, imagine she imagining. I don't know what's going on. I'm too geeked. Like, I'm too geeked to see that shit. Like, she just passed out.
Ah! No, no, wake up! Please, I'm sorry! No, no, no! What have I done? What have I done? It was just an April Fool's prank! No! And that was the last time I ever saw my wife alive. I have nobody to blame but myself. I killed my wife over a stupid April Fool's prank. I can still remember the moment I knew she was gone. Cops were already on their way and I didn't know what else to do. So I just held on to her and sobbed until they came into the house and took her away from me. At first, I thought it was the way she fell and hit her head that was the cause of death, but it was later ruled that she had a heart attack from the sheer amount of fright she was experiencing. I confessed to everything and got put in prison for a few years for manslaughter, but that wasn't nearly enough punishment for what I did. Even after all these years, all the hours spent in therapy and talks I've had with her family, I still haven't forgiven myself. I don't think I ever will. I've come to terms with the fact that having to live with myself, with all the guilt and the shame and regret, that's the punishment I deserve.
This story was inspired by a disturbing April Fool's incident
Hey, that
that
nigga was
allegedly
speaking
happened
real shit
decades
at the
ago
end, though.
involving
That
a
nigga.
Tennessee farmer named John Aarons, who was looking for a harmless laugh at the expense of his new wife, would go on to accidentally kill her just a month into their relationship. Getting kitted up in some tatty clothes and a white mask, Aaron knocked on the door of his own home and asked his wife for a meal, quote unquote shouting, "I'm homeless. Let me come in. Cook me a meal." The woman promptly fainted and was later taken to the hospital, where she later died. The doctors put her cause of death down to fright.
Why the fuck would you do that, bro? Like, imagine you have what? I'm too geeked. We're just gonna watch it, bro. I'm not. You might not even see me react. Like, you know, you might just see me just say not saying nothing. I'm just, cause I'm too geeked. And I'm too hard to be reacting.
I had been living in university housing for a full year before it all went down. Everything was totally fine at first. I liked all of my roommates, and I was doing well in all my classes. Then, at the start of my second year, a new guy moved into the dorm. His name was Stuart, and that's when my life became hell. It wasn't like Stuart was a bad roommate or anything. He was usually pretty quiet, and he cleaned up after himself. The problem was that I just hated him as a person. He was just incredibly pretentious and thought he was better than everyone else. A real goody two-shoes. It made being around him almost unbearable. And of course, our dorm wasn't that big, so it's not like I could avoid him very easily. I was forced to see him every day. He wasn't the kind of guy that you could ignore either. He would always have something to talk to me about, and it usually involved him bragging about himself in some way. I tried to tolerate him as much as I could, but he made it very difficult. Then, one day, I came home to catch him talking crap about me behind my back. He made some lame attempt to cover it up, but it was obvious that he had been talking about me. I really started to hate him after that. I started to think of ways that I could get even with him. First, I thought that I could get him kicked out of the dorm, but that seemed like it could backfire too easily. Then I had the most perfect idea. April Fool's was coming up soon, and I was going to play a prank on him. So on March 31st, I waited in my room until it was very late at night. Around 2 a.m., it was officially April Fool's Day. Now I could begin to implement my plan. I slowly and quietly left my room and crept behind a wall where I would have a good view of Stuart's door. I needed to get into his room without him seeing me, and he would usually go to the washroom at some point during the night. So I stood there and waited for the moment to come. It took a little while, but eventually, I watched as Stuart's door open. He sleepily walked into the washroom and shut the door behind him. I knew that I only had a few minutes at that point, so I didn't waste any time sneaking into his room. Once I was inside, I frantically searched his room until I found his water dispenser. After I found it, there was only one thing left to do. I had come up with the ultimate prank. So I took out a chemical that I had stolen from class and began contaminating his water dispenser as my April Fool's prank. I had to move swiftly before Stuart came back. Adrenaline was coursing through me. I finished it just in time. I had barely gotten out of his room and snuck into mine before Stuart came out of the washroom. One more second and he would have caught me, but I didn't. I quietly crawled back.
That's not a prank,
Now all I
bro.
had to
You're
do was
drugging
wait.
him.
About 5 to 10 minutes and I heard nothing. I assumed he went back to bed and didn't drink from the dispenser, so I decided to go to sleep. That is, until I started hearing Stuart coughing. It was light at first, but then it became crazy. I walked out of my room and stood in the hallway in the dark. I wanted to be able to hear it better and make sure it was actually him, not just my head playing tricks on me.
Oh, because Brody talks shit?
Stuart ended up staying home the next day. He was apparently too sick to attend class. Instead, he spent the whole day in his room coughing. I wanted to enjoy every minute of his misery, so I skipped class that day as well. It was just too satisfying to know that my prank had turned out so perfectly.
That's not a prank.
This went on for several days. All throughout, Stuart continued to miss class, and I continued to do the same. I had told my professors that I was staying home to nurse Stuart back to health, but I really just wanted to listen. It was a beautiful sound. I stood in that hallway day and night listening to it.
Lock this
Stuart,
nigga up.
of course, was unaware of this. He had bigger things to worry about. As I listened to him, he started to sound like he was getting worse. A lot worse. I eventually took Stuart to the hospital. He died a few days after that. The doctor said that if he had been brought in sooner, they probably could have saved him. A toxicology report revealed that there had been chemicals in Stuart's system that had led to his demise. His death was labeled a murder. The cops arrested me under suspicion as I had been the one to bring Stuart in. After they questioned me, I eventually admitted to tampering with Stuart's water dispenser, and I was charged. At my trial, I tried to use the fact that it was an April Fool's prank as my defense, but the judge denied it. I was sentenced to life in prison. As I stand here in prison, I can't help but be happy about one thing. At least I don't have Stuart as a roommate anymore. The story was inspired
you're
by a
happy
horrific
getting
April
your
Fool's
cheeks
incident
clapped?
that happened.
I ain't never heard a nigga say I'm happy being in prison. Nigga, you're happy being in, what? I already know how you look too. You nigga, you're not, that's just not prison, yeah. They got him locked up like in the white room.
2013, a Chinese university student named Lin Senhao was condemned to death after he was found guilty of fatally poisoning his roommate Huang Yang's drinking water. Lin claimed that the death was an accident after an innocent April Fool's Day prank which had ended in tragedy. However, a judge ruled that the act was malicious and Lin had intentionally murdered his roommate out of spite. Huang drank water from a spiked dispenser at a Shanghai university on April 1st, but did not pass away until a couple months later. A post-mortem revealed that he had been poisoned with a toxin Lin had taken from a laboratory where he was an intern. It was also reported that the victim often described Lin as stingy, and once criticized their other roommates' bad behavior to Lin's, which most likely triggered Lin's April Fool's actions.
This happened back when I was married to my current wife, Penny. Back in those days, she was a kind and beautiful woman. Not to mention, she was 12 years younger than me, which I'm not ashamed to admit was a huge plus. It was my second marriage, so I didn't mind that it was her fourth marriage. In hindsight, that should have been a warning to me,
Hey,
but I
yo,
was too much of a fool to see.
Hey, yo, pause. Bro started it off with, she's 12 years younger than me. 12 years younger? My guy. Bro, 12 years younger? Nigga, what? Nigga, if you're 30, hold on. 30. That's 20. That's 18. Bro, how old is you? That's suspect. I'm out there. Oh, this is gonna be out the one I'm have to really edit, bro.
Everything was fine for years. We raised 3 children together, but as soon as our youngest left home, Penny took a turn for the worse. I don't know if it was the first symptoms of dementia or not, because she started treating me like garbage. She cheated on me countless times, calls me names, and thousands of dollars go missing from our bank account every month so she can buy God knows what, and I'm sure she's addicted to more than just vodka. Whatever cocktail she's taking, it usually ends with her coming home to scream and throw knives and plates at me until she passes out on the couch for the night. Needless to say, it's been a long time since we slept in the same bed together. I don't even want to think about it, but I don't get the luxury of ignoring it while I'm stuck living with her. She's the mother of my children, but every year, things just get worse and worse. I've considered divorce, but I worry it would only make her more unstable. Then one day, on the 1st of April, I discovered something extremely disturbing. I remember strolling through Facebook on my laptop one night and stumbled upon Penny's page. That's when I saw that she had posted a picture of herself knitting together a noose. There was a caption above the image that read, "I wish he would use this." It was clear that it was me, and that she wanted me to hang from it. I was in shock. Unfortunately, my only option was to believe it was a tasteless April Fool's joke. However, that would not be the last one. Every April Fool's Day afterward, Penny would post another supposed joke about taking my life in one way or another, and each time it seemed more serious than the last. At this point, it seems more than likely that I will die at the hands of my wife on the 1st of April. Right now, as I finish writing this letter, it is almost midnight on the 31st of March. If anyone is reading this, consider it proof of her guilt. Goodbye, children. Signed, David Jackson.
That's a nigga.
God, she's drunk again. Where are you hiding from me again? Oh crap, is it midnight already? It's that time of the year again! Happy April Fools! You stupid old fool, you ruined my life! Now I'm going to ruin yours! She's really gonna do it this time, isn't she? I can hear you stomping around up there! Just leave me alone, you old fart! I don't want your saggy jumps near me! Oh, come on, dear, we're husband and wife! Shouldn't we sleep
Oh,
Don't do that anymore! I'll never pull my diaper down for you, woman! You hear me? You don't
Bro,
tell
what is
me
he
what
talking
I
about?
know or don't know. I make the decisions around here. Now open this door and let me in. No, you're not coming anywhere near me while you're drunk. Just get your mimosa breath away from me. I'm not going anywhere until you let me in. Penny, stop! Don't Don't do this. We can talk it out. I'm sorry I raised my voice. I'll do whatever you want to make it up to you. I swear. Just don't hurt me. You can sleep with me if you want.
It's too late for that, old man. You had your chance. Ah!
Penny, why are you doing this?
For all the times you treated me like your slave.
Penny, please stop. Or I'm gonna call the cops.
Screw you, you piece of shit.
Penny, no! Stop
This story was inspired by a disturbing April Fool's incident that happened in 2021. A 66-year-old woman named Penny Jackson posted a sick April Fool's joke about hanging her husband just months before she pulled the knife on him on her 66th birthday. What makes things even more disturbing was how the woman calmly told police that she should have did more to him. The April Fool's joke prior to all of this was that Jackson had made her Facebook cover photograph of an image of a woman knitting a noose on April 1st of last year. A caption above the image read, "Quarantined with hubby for 2 weeks. Gertrude is knitting something special for him." Jackson was later found guilty by a jury and sentenced to life.
That's scary. Now that's actually scary. That one was actually scary. Now that one was actually like balls.